Before dawn, 38,000 a year laces steel-toe boots in a dark, rented room. Weatherproof pants come off the chair, stiff at the knees from yesterday's route. You clip dog spray beside the company logo. Your old personal car coughs toward the utility yard through empty streets. Just after 6, you load addresses into the handheld meter reading device. Each clean read becomes billable usage, and one wrong mark sends the charge to the wrong door. You climb porch steps and work the locked gate latch. Wet hedges slap your sleeves beside the brick wall. On one knee, you wipe fog from the meter index. By mid-morning, the basement meter bank makes you match tags like a witness. A metal door groans open under weak light. Pipework hangs still above the meters. A suspicious homeowner gets your company ID and a short explanation about access. Behind trash cans, you record the dead AMI module. Near noon, a meter number mismatch earns a mark before your boots move on. Fast food fries steam in the parked truck. Restaurant heat leaks through the wall by the strip mall meter bank, and you read fast. Corrosion freckles the bent riser. Past 4, the utility yard takes your skipped reads and access problems. In the shower, black grit runs from your ankles. Laundry waits in the sink, and overtime loses to sleep. A cleaner shirt and 46,000 a year meet under a call center badge. A sweater goes into your bag for the cold customer service floor. The bus carries you toward headsets, account locks, and the phone queue. By 8, your headset opens on a caller already angry about winter. Your supervisor gives high bill season notes in a voice already tired. You verify the account number, name, and service address. Therms become a plain sentence for a caller who thinks you made the cold. Meter reads, rates, and weather built the charge, and your job is explaining the path without owning the price. Mid-morning brings an angry caller and another delivery charge explanation. You describe the supply charge, though gas buyers set that part far upstream. Fluorescent lights hum over muted headsets. A bad estimate turns into a reread service order. You code a payment extension before heat disappears from the house. At lunch, your microwaved container opens beside reps who speak in sighs. A shutoff notice shakes in a crying customer's voice, and you slow your own. The headset carries a suspected leak straight to emergency operators. Account notes take the dispute to billing supervisors. Near 5, the phone queue measures each rap note you finish. The train ride home asks nothing from your voice. Your phone rings, and your thumb sends the call away. Field training at 58,000 a year starts with flame-resistant clothes in a duffel. You fill a cooler for the service van before the yard opens. Diesel and damp gloves greet you at the service center. Before 7, the tailboard talk covers leak response, pressure zones, traffic control, and weather. Combustible gas indicator first. You bump it, check the bar hole probe, stack wrenches, gauges, and cones. The service van rolls toward a no-heat call, and the journeyman lets the radio do most of the talking. You set cones at the curb. You knock on the first house, and the journeyman asks about burners, furnace trouble, and the smell. Mid-morning, soap solution bubbles over threaded joints under a finger you still have to steady. Both hands lock around the pipe wrench when the union finally gives. The windshield fogs in the warm van. Under the journeyman's eye, you label fittings, cap pipe, and learn which open end scares people. Mud sticks to the shovel as you dig around the marked service line, slow enough to find pipe by feel. Noonish, a gas station burrito leaks onto the wrapper while dispatch talks through the speaker. The odor call changes your hands. No jokes now. You test the mercaptan smell where the senior tech points. The journeyman taps the service valve and says, "Supervised live gas pays more because one wrong move can clear a house." Late day, meter seals refill the bin at the yard. Your notebook opens for a quiz on purging, relighting, pressure, and the steps you missed. Procedures blur on the pillow before sleep takes over. At 82,000 a year, the company phone charges on your nightstand. Boots wait by the door for on-call. A company service truck carries the rolling shop toward the district yard. By 7, emergency work orders jump ahead of meter exchanges, relights, and regulator checks. Leak detection equipment chirps clean beside the truck during the bump test. A no-heat call starts with your hand on the meter valve and the pressure gauge. The worried customer hears you separate furnace trouble from gas service without softening the facts. You shut gas at the meter bar and break the unions. Mid-morning, your spare meter lands square on the set and soap solution finds no bubbles at the joints. You verify pressure with the gauge before relighting appliances in the house. Basement dust hangs above the stairs. Dispatch sends an odor call and the service truck moves with no small talk. Bar hole probe bites pavement along the service line. At noon, the deli sandwich closes. Firefighters wait for your answer on whether gas stays shut. The excavation crew shows you the nicked line, the torn coating, and the dirt still sliding from the trench. The contractor hears the blunt version. Trusted hands earn more because live pipe gives no redo. Late day, tags carry pressure readings, meter numbers, and parts used back into the record. Dinner reaches dessert before the on-call phone starts shaking. Sleep stays shallow beside the bed. Rotating alarms wake a 105,000 a year controller in a room kept dark for sleep. Sunglasses go in your pocket for the dawn departure. Badge doors close behind you inside the secured operations center. At shift start, the outgoing controller gives you pressure problems, station status, planned work, odor calls, and crews still outside. SCADA shows pressures, flows, valve positions, regulator stations, city gates, and district feeds. The weather forecast gets compared against demand, storage flow, and what the system should be doing. Field personnel answer your call about a station reading that does not match the morning load. You keep the operating log clear because districts depend on valve calls, confirmed pressures, and no guessing. By mid-morning, city gate demand rises as houses heat and restaurant burners come alive. Radio in hand, you confirm maintenance clearance and make the crew repeat the isolation limits. The control room glows blue over empty chairs and cold coffee. For the station job, you call each valve step in order and wait for the field confirmation. At noon, microwave soup steams beside procedure binders, radio traffic, and an alarm tone that cuts through lunch. A telemetering failure flashes on the console. You call supervisors over the low-pressure report and give the district feed, station name, and last good reading. Crews earn trust at the regulator station, but you earn yours by keeping one wrong valve from starving a neighborhood. Pipeline operators get your warning during abnormal demand, and the words stay clipped. Capacity, pressure, gate, confirm. Near handover, the next controller gets the open alarms, suspect readings, and crews still working outside. Dawn meets you at the exit. Commuters arrive with travel mugs as you leave the operations center in sunglasses. Blackout curtains hold back the morning in a quiet bedroom where sleep has to be defended. The billing exception queue opens 118,000 a year day instead of boots. Your decent apartment has clean counters, a packed lunch, and no wet gloves drying over the heater. The billing center pulls you through badge doors, quiet elevators, and coffee smell. Early morning brings zero winter usage, far above history usage, and meters that failed validation overnight. You compare read dates, billing days, meter number, pressure factor, and account class. A restaurant's gas pattern jumps at breakfast and dinner. A small home does not breathe like that. Customer service sends a high bill complaint, and you trace the account through actual reads, estimates, and corrections. Read dates show a long billing period after locked access finally opened. Mid-morning, meter readers get your reread request with the address, meter number, and access note. The multiplier matters because analysts defend the final bill, not a guess passed down the chain. Exception codes blur in the quiet office. On a field photo, locked gates and barking dogs explain why the account ran on estimates. Around noon, a cafeteria bowl lands beside analysts talking about billing cycles and one account that will not reconcile. A commercial kitchen usage spike gets matched against burners, hours, meter size, and the last clean read. You apply the tariff sheet, riders, taxes, delivery charges, supply charges, and approved adjustments without rounding away the story. Regulatory complaint staff ask for proof, and you answer with dates, reads, class, and the correction path. Held bills leave the queue before the mass billing run wakes angry phones tomorrow. Late day, audit notes on corrections go to Carla, your supervisor, for the official trail. Dinner can be planned now. Errands fit between work and home until month end stretches another week across the calendar. Coffee waits beside a 145,000 a year gas buyer, but the weather forecast gets first attention. Overnight forecasts land before customers touch the thermostat and turn cold air into demand. Utility headquarters takes you through security toward the scheduling desk, where market chatter has already started. Before the offices fill, storage reports show inventory, pipeline constraints, and how much room the system still has. Demand forecast meets yesterday's burn, and the city gate number tells you whether the cold is outrunning the plan. You nominate gas through the pipeline nomination system, choosing contracts, storage withdrawal, spot supply, and flowing supply. Receipt point by receipt point, you enter delivery points before the pipeline deadline closes. Gas marketers answer your call about spot purchases, and nobody talks long when the cold is moving. Mid-morning, the pipeline bulletin board posts a constraint, and your calm schedule turns into phone calls. You confirm the contract because customers later pay the whole gas ticket through supply charges on the bill. Market screens glow over quiet carpet. Delivery records get volumes, dates, and counterparties for accounting, auditors, and the next nomination cycle. At noon, catered meeting leftovers sit near pipeline deadlines, half-eaten between calls from schedulers. Updated forecasts arrive, and you revise nominations before gas control asks for the next gate plan. You call gas control and ask whether north zone pressure can take the revised gate plan. You add storage withdrawal to the evening schedule for the cold load coming home from work. You track an operational flow order on the bulletin board, close enough to penalties to tighten your jaw. Late day, you reconcile imbalance totals against next day requirements before leaving the scheduling desk. At dinner, you check pipeline notices beside the plate. Winter anxiety vibrates beside the plate. 175,000 a year wakes to a crew injury report on the company phone. Overnight odor calls glow on the company phone before your feet touch the floor. Your personal SUV rolls toward the district office under a sky the crews already know. Before dawn, you lead the operations briefing with supervisors crowding around open leaks, outages, overtime, and permit trouble. You ask the room which leaks cannot wait. Loaded trucks idle in the yard, packed with pipe, tapping gear, trench plates, cones, and fusion tools. You question foremen on excavation permits and traffic control before any crew leaves the gate. Shoring boards and spoil piles at the excavated trench show whether a foreman rushed the job. Mid-morning, you check locator marks, fusion joints, and the fusion tools lined near the pavement cut. A public official calls about the blocked street, and you give the paving schedule without softening the mess. Mud dries on your boots outside the meeting room. Cold coffee becomes lunch in the SUV cup holder. Safety managers bring response times in near-miss trends, and you make supervisors turn metrics into crew choices. Union stewards hear you ask for more crews and more time, not another lecture about hustle. You approve resources because a failed excavation reaches your name through emergency responders, reporters, and regulators. Late day, the personal SUV cuts toward a third-party dig-in with your dinner still planned at home. Incident command forms beside the damaged main, and you line up fire officials, field supervisors, and police. Field supervisors start documentation immediately, per your order. A hit main takes your dinner off the table. Inside the quiet house, you leave the phone loud. At 280,000 a year, phone alerts glow under a quiet ceiling. Operational summaries cross the quiet room before breakfast, with pressure events, billing problems, weather risk, and media mentions. A high-end car carries you toward headquarters, through streets your crews have opened and patched. Before 8, operations directors hear you ask which issue can become tomorrow's headline. Legal counsel, finance executives, safety chiefs, and communications leads leave with the priorities you set. You fund main replacement because delayed pipe can put a family, a crew, and the company in grief. You challenge finance executives on delays, since every deferred dollar still carries pipe risk under the street. Mid-morning, you brief regulators on reliability, affordability, safety performance, and winter readiness. City officials press you on winter readiness, and you answer with crew staffing, storage, and outage plans. At lunch, a catered board meal sits between rate risk and safety promises. Boardroom glass reflects pipe routes no customer sees. Crews roll back as you arrive at the district yard. Union leadership stands nearby, and you ask workers what blocks safe response times in the field. At dusk, you thank crews beside parked service vans, naming the cold calls they handled without cameras. Microphones wait at the public meeting, and you speak carefully about rates, safety, and the crews behind both. The same brick wall meter index you wiped at dawn now looks like the first small promise in a system you built. A restaurant table holds your family, warm plates, and crews texting that reliability held through the cold. The large, quiet house waits, and the gas system breathes beyond the dark window.